Welcome to this week's episode of Lagnapod. I'm your host, Rob Holbert. We've got a smaller group here at the table today. Introduce yourselves.
Scott Johnson.
Ashley Trice.
Ashley's never in the game when this starts. She's always like, on my phone. I don't know. I'm lost.
I was a little eager there, too. I don't know why I jumped in.
That was Scott's
She was
because
pausing.
he sent this text.
Sorry,
and I was
Kyle, please introduce yourself, too.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kyle Hammer.
Okay, we're here.
It's nice to be here.
Now that we've chastised everyone. All right. We are, it has been a busy week since we last adjourned here, or last convened, I should say, here at the Rectangular Round Table. I mean, it's been crazy. The biggest thing, obviously, I guess the one that's kind of gone nuts from a social media standpoint is Scott's story that he just did yesterday on Tommy Tuberville's campaign promise in 2020 that he would be giving all of his salary from the Senate to veterans.
Yeah, it's a promise he made multiple times on radio, to people personally. He repeated it. It wasn't something he just said in passing one time. Am I good?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that was all while he was campaigning for U.S. Senate in March 2020. So along the lines of, I'm not going to take a dime of my Senate salary.
Yeah. So he just said he wasn't going to take. He was going to not take his salary. He was going to give it to veterans.
Yep. And so we did reporting on his tax returns.
Yes.
There's also new Form 990s out from his nonprofit, the Tommy Tuberville Foundation. Neither of which show any record of Tuberville donating his salary. Of course, you can mark off charitable donations as a deduction on your tax returns. There are some possible donations on those years. Nothing that even comes close to the $174,000 salary that he's earning.
Yeah, none of that looks like, when we looked at his numbers, the numbers that they inadvertently released to the public, it didn't look like they were actually claiming his full salary. I mean, I don't know where.
Yeah. It
doesn't show this $174,000 as a wage. Anyway,
it sits around. His income jumps up to around $130,000.
Right.
And that's pretty steady for the 21 through 24.
Yeah, but usually you don't. I mean, you don't get. I'm not an accountant, but you don't usually deduct prior to putting it on it's in your taxes, and then you deduct after the fact, is what I see. But we're getting lost in the weeds here a little bit, because it's not just we didn't just look at the numbers and go, hey, it doesn't look like he's doing this. You actually talked to the guy who's at his foundation. Yeah,
we called up Chester McKinney, who's the treasurer for the Tommy Tuberville Foundation, and we talked for 20 minutes. He had a lot to say about the Tuberville's IRS audit for the foundation, it does seem like a weird audit to have happened.
Sure.
Actually, Tuberville cites that for the reason in 2023 when he talked to the Washington Post.
Right.
He cites that as the reason for not having done the donation of his salary.
He said there was an investigation into his thing, so he was not going to give any money. He's not going to put that money in. It didn't mean, well, I'll just say he just didn't put it in his foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking to Chester, he said that he was personally promised by Tuberville that he was going to donate his salary to the veterans, but he was actually kind of confused / surprised to hear Tuberville saying that he intended to use his foundation to make that transfer happen. He said that was never discussed, and he doesn't know why the IRS audit would have prevented him from doing
the IRS audit, which he says is over, by the way.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, ended in 23.
Yeah,
successfully.
So it's been over for 3 years now. Yes.
And and all of this too. His campaign has had questions sitting in their inbox from me about this that they could have easily responded to.
Yeah, the fascinating thing, I guess, from a journalistic standpoint is, typically when you call somebody who works for somebody else, you figure you're just going to get a lot of, I can't answer that question, or I'm not, or company line type stuff. And this guy was not on the company line, right?
No, he's very matter of fact. He's like, well, I can't speak for Tommy. I'm not going to try and cover it for him. All I can say is the foundation's numbers are, I can account for everything.
Right.
He's very proud of his accounting work for the foundation.
Right.
And,
yeah.
but no, he wanted to make a clear line between what Tommy had been promising and what the foundation's activities. And,
It sounded like most of the income from the foundation came from some golf tournament that he hosted.
That's exactly what I mean. It did, and I think you pointed out that golf tournament didn't take place last year, and that kind of thing. Yeah, basically, as you pointed out, if he had donated all of his salary from the U.S. Senate since he's been there, it would be over $1 million donated.
Right. He could turn around tomorrow and do that, I guess, and still, fulfill his campaign pledge.
I don't know. He couldn't have done it in 2019 when he made $11,000 though. But no, it's that stuff. I mean, I think this is not. It's not technically a new news story though, because as you said, the Washington Post did a story about this in 2023. But you added a bunch of new information through looking at this tax records that his people sent out that were not not redacted properly. But also, I think the fact that Chester said what he said has really kind of made this story really stand out. And I've been kind of blown away by the amount of national interest in it.
Yeah, it blew up on Twitter. So
yeah.
Really wild to watch it run rampant there.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, man. It's we've had I think in the last week or so since we did the last Lagnapod. I mean, I know that Tuberville wrote some op-ed in that that propaganda thing 1819
episode,
yeah and this is that sort of right-wing propaganda publication online that. And then he once again accused us of stealing his tax information and breaking the law.
Yeah, but
once again threatened to go to court again. But I don't know.
He accuses us of breaking the law, but he doesn't name us, which is weird. I'm like, you're bold enough to say
he identified us for certain. There's no question there was identification, but we're the only newspaper that ran the story.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just silly stuff. But we'll keep after it. It is a never-ending story. It seems. I don't.
Yeah. It's also curious. I mean, when the Washington Post does a story in 23 highlighting this issue, I mean, you feel like, oh wait, let's make sure this is buttoned up for the future.
Like you would think he was like, ooh, yeah.
I can only imagine that came up in opposition research for his campaign.
Guys, I mean, again, we'd say the same thing about his residency issue. This thing there is one thing that I've noticed about him is just this sort of propensity for making statements that don't really, it kind of overload his ass, more or less, is what he's doing. He talks, he's done that even as a coach. He makes these statements he can't back up or won't back up, but also just when he's aware of a problem, he doesn't appear to take care of it. This residency issue is something that he's been well aware of. Everybody's been saying this for years, and he still has not really made it very clear.
I would love to know if he is at his house in Auburn right now, or rather in the middle of June, late June, instead of the Santa Rosa Beach house.
I would be fascinated to know if his wife has ever spent any serious time at the Auburn house.
Yeah, I mean, but what's the latest with the challenge to the residency from the veterans?
That's all happened since the episode 2.
Yeah.
So two veterans have filed a lawsuit. It's called a quo warranto lawsuit, basically challenging the person's ability to hold an office. They claim that being a nominee is a quasi-officer. And I think there's something to that. I mean, it sounds like there's more than, it's not nothing.
Right.
You have, so that's probably going to be fought over whether or not that applies to a nominee.
And Tuberville's people quickly came out, wanted summary judgment, get it booted out. They wanted it out.
Didn't even wait for it to be served, the lawsuit. They want to dismiss it. And of course, they're pointing to the Republican Party decision. The Republican Party just dealt with this. Why are you trying to second guess?
Right.
And they're making this kind of a narrative line where the courts are trying to get involved in the elections. news break. Courts have always been involved in elections. Hanging chads, just
it's a strange argument that
Gore,
the court has
Bush v. Gore.
The redistricting saga.
Yeah.
Claiming that the courts have no authority is an interesting take. I don't think it doesn't seem like that would be accurate. We'll see what they come up with. I mean, I think their whole goal, well, I mean, I'm sure they would love to just have it kicked out. It seems unlikely that's going to happen. The biggest issue to me is if it gets through this. I mean, one thing that will be fascinating is if the people who filed the suit are allowed discovery, because then you've got a real issue. If they can allow to subpoena things,
it's going to get so ugly.
It will get very ugly. But if it gets there, and then of course it's going to end up. If it goes there, there'll be an appeal. If he loses there, it's going to be an appeal.
And it's not going to happen
Alabama Supreme
the
Court
election. I mean, before the general, probably.
I mean, it should.
They expedite it.
It should, but
I spoke with the attorney who's carrying the suit, and he definitely thought that time management was a big part of the other Tommy's lawyer strategy.
Sure,
is trying to drag out the timeline.
Yeah.
You call it, the four corner strategy in basketball.
Yeah.
Just trying to run.
Yeah. I mean, because then your arguments that you're and they're already arguing this, that you're disenfranchising the voters of the 400,000 plus voters that voted for him.
But I mean, I guess in the same line of argument, I guess you could say that you're sort of disenfranchising the voters the other way too. Mm-hmm. If the Republicans are, endorsing somebody who's constitutionally ineligible.
It just really boils down to, do you live here or do you not live here? Do you meet the requirements? Do you not meet the requirements? If the legislature wants to change the requirements and make it less, they should do it. But, we would stop having these kinds of issues, I think.
Call a special session, switch the law.
Yeah. The other big news that happened since last time we were here, the 3 city council people in Orange Beach have filed an ethics complaint against Mayor Tony Kennon. That we knew there was some ethics complaints going on, but we managed to get Grant managed to get a hold of that, and did a great story on it.
Yeah,
but it's
basically it just
really
confirms what
it's really fascinating. It confirms all the reporting we did last year on it. Mm-hmm. Is what they took all the city council people in and made them watch the body camera footage from the building that night when someone called 911, said a butt-naked man was out there on the balcony punching a woman in the face and screaming at her.
Yeah.
And police showed up, and Tony Kennon was in his quote-unquote his office, his secret office, the office that's like 3 miles from his actual city hall office that just happens to be on the water.
Yeah.
And so all those things were things we've reported, but there were the city council people in this complaint verified almost they verified everything that we were written, but now they've seen it. And 3 of those folks filed a complaint. They said that Kennon has been trying to keep them from letting this body camera footage out, and even to the point where he threatened them, all the city council, with personal lawsuits, and they claim he even came close to issuing a physical threat to one of them, as he was calling one of the councilmen a feeble old man. But it also verifies some of the stuff we heard, that the city administrator was well aware of it,
mm-hmm.
and the city clerk was aware of it, the police chief was aware of it,
city attorney.
All those people were aware of it, and there was video camera footage from that building that we asked about, and we're told, we don't know, we don't have it, whatever it is, and that the city council people filing this complaint say that video footage was allowed to be taped over. It runs over. It's just like most systems, every 30 days, it tapes over it.
Yeah.
And
so no one saved that footage from this.
So there was an alleged criminal activity on a city building, on city property, and the people who run the city knew about it,
mm-hmm.
and did not preserve that videotape.
Yeah.
Which I think runs into a real issue. I mean, I know this has gone to the Ethics Commission, which, sometimes that's more or less like going into the bathroom and flushing that out in the toilet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
something could come of this.
Well, but
Possible.
I think, to me, the district attorney's office ought to be involved in this, because what you have, if this occurred, is destruction of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that have done things to make sure, I don't know whose idea it was to not pull this, but that's pretty standard practice in police work.
Mm-hmm.
Police were called out there. They did do a very cursory,
basic,
very cursory investigation into it. They did go and follow up with Mrs. Kennon and make sure she was okay a few days later.
Several days later.
But yes,
not at the scene.
You have, there was a little bit of investigation. There was actually a city investigation that everybody was told was going to occur, which they say in their complaint was never finished. But all of those things would have been issues. Certainly the city administrator, certainly the police chief, certainly all those people knew there was a camera system on that building.
Mm-hmm.
It was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do anything to get it. Even Tony Kennon was there, and he knew, even if he's claiming he didn't do anything, he didn't punch anybody in the face, he wasn't running around the building naked, he wasn't doing anything rotten. But the police showed up and talked to him. You would think, in his own defense, he would pull the video and say, "See here, folks, there was nothing there."
Mm-hmm. Or to find out who actually did the activity.
Yeah, because they flat
again,
out, including her, flat out denied it at first.
They denied it.
Because they claimed that they had been at the pool or someplace.
That's when they finally did it. After the audio came out, they finally admitted they were there. But at first, it was just ludicrous suggestions. And well, I will deal with Lanyap later for these
next week
false accusations. And then he finally came up and said, "Oh, well, we were there. I was changing my swimsuit. I had a wet swimsuit from swimming at 1 a.m. at the swim club next door." A very likely thing to have happen. But again, if they thought there was someone punching women in the face on the balcony of the Coastal Services building, wouldn't you, as the mayor, be interested in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think.
You would think, yeah.
But nobody ever pulled the video. So, I think that's a destruction of evidence in
and the threats too.
I think there's extortion going on. If these people are accurate in what they're saying, he's extorting them. He's threatening their political careers. If they do anything, he said he would do everything to ruin their political careers. That's extortion.
Mm-hmm.
If that is occurring,
I think just what folks say.
I think the district attorney office ought to get out there and ought to interview these people, because let's just also keep this in mind. This stuff happened at the very beginning of September in 2024. We are now in June of 2026. 2 years is coming up, and 2 years statute of limitations on a lot of this stuff will go past if there's not an investigation that is started.
And they previously, the DA told me that they would not look into this.
Right.
That it would take somebody else asking the DA to investigate.
But the DA's office, DA Wilters had said in the past that he was not just going to look into it unless he got an actual complaint, although he is perfectly capable of doing so.
Yeah, even
DAs can launch an investigation whenever they want to. It
doesn't even pass the smell test, because domestic violence, the state brings the charge. You don't wait for the
look, if we reported...
she's going to deny that
If we reported that some comptroller in Loxley had stolen $200,000, and you think the DA would launch an investigation? Yeah, I bet he would. But it's not
probably not
the allegations that the mayor's out there committing domestic violence out on the balcony of the building and covering up police.
Even if they're not going to do the domestic violence charge, because she probably won't testify against him, the cover up is
there's manipulation of police reports. There's all these things that are alleged in this complaint, all stuff that we have reported prior, is it's all there. And they ought to go talk to these elected officials who are saying this is what happened. But we'll see. But it is Baldwin County, and things roll a different way over there.
Yeah.
But all right, we're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll come right back and talk a little bit more about Father's Day excitement. And we are back. I was fortunate enough last week to be out of town during this tropical event that snuck up on us. So
Came out of
y'all talk
nowhere,
a little
man.
bit about it.
I mean, I will say, I think everybody is in agreement that the local weathermen, and I know they hate to hear this, and I'm sorry, but you know, they overhype a lot of storms. Like I remember several times my kids were out of school, and it was for a tropical event, and it was like
sun
nothing.
out.
Like yes, but this one I felt like it was pretty underhyped. Maybe maybe they just couldn't tell or whatever, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh my goodness, like, you know, we lost power here early on at the office. Everyone was, you know, went home to work because we didn't have any power here. I come back and I'm looking at all the footage of what's going on in Mississippi and what's heading for us. I mean, there was flooding and all these rescues of cars and
cows on rooftops.
I mean, it was crazy.
The whole thing.
But then, there was at some point I was watching the wind and I was like, this is as bad as Sally was. Not as for the duration of time that Sally was here, but I mean, I had a huge limb fall out in my yard. My neighbor had a massive oak tree down, and I didn't have power for 24 hours.
Sally was another sneaky one, though.
See,
and I think it did the same thing. It did this diagonal kind of attack, and that's what Arthur did. That kind of came in weird and diagonal. The pincher move on us. It did a strange
pincher movement.
It did. It
That's
came
what
in
got
that diagonal way. I mean, Sally was the same way. I mean, I went to bed thinking, "Oh, this nothing," and then woke up listening to my neighbor's roof smacking onto something. You know, I was like, well, okay, that was more than we thought.
But I mean, that was a lot of rain. I mean, 3 Mile Creek backs up to the back of my neighborhood. It's normally maybe like up. I mean, it's probably like a 10-foot drop maybe down on the bank is, and it's usually maybe 2 feet at the most. It was almost like cresting. I mean, I've never seen it like that before, but
yes, it was. It sounded like it was quite a thing, and as always, we had accompanying this type of thing, we had a massive amount of sewage that was released, which is always nice to know.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. Just in time for the 4th of July.
Just in time for the 4th.
You got sharks in the street, and you got
sharks
in the street.
Sharks in the street. Yeah. So we only got about, I think, like 4.5 inches of rain when it came through.
That, by the way.
That's what the weather people.
I know that was at the airport, but I think at my house I got like 8 inches because I had this giant pot, like a flower pot that I had not emptied out, and I mean we had just emptied it out, and it looked like about 8 inches at my house. But
more than this, we had like 1 million and something gallons of sewage from Mobile and Baldwin counties leak into several creeks and streams, and it was just a really fun time there.
Well, it's always nice.
I think in Daphne they had like 450,000 gallons of sewage flow into like the Doleave Creek. Moz had, I think, 250,000 flow into Eslava Creek. It was tons of yummy fun stuff.
It would be nice one of these days to get some of that stuff settled. I can't even imagine what the Pritchard overflows. We just haven't heard about them yet.
I don't think
they probably haven't put those numbers out yet, but those are typically out of just mind blowing. Well, I'm glad to have missed some of that. I got on the plane to leave, and the pilot said, "Get these doors closed. We got about 10 minutes, or they're going to shut us down." So I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
It was a good little dry run for wet run, I guess I could say, for getting ready for the tropical.
No, it's not, because
season.
Nothing's going to happen. We're not having any more of these. No more.
Knock, knock.
No more. Anyway, we'll
I hope
see what
not.
happens. Let's hope not.
I can. It was also a good reminder of how nice it is to have air conditioning.
Yes,
air conditioning's nice, and having your freezer's nice.
Yes.
I think you had some freezer problems.
Well, I brought all of my food from my refrigerator down to the office.
Oh yeah,
and then I went home and left it out on the counter.
Wow!
Overnight, yes.
It's still good.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I did save the ice cream though.
Yeah.
Speaking of sewage, Father's Day was recent. We just had Father's Day,
Segway.
and you've noticed something, Ashley. Your column this week is very interesting. And as fathers, Scott's a father. I'm a father. Kyle's about to be a father.
Fixing
to be a father. There is a theme we've noticed.
Yes.
Certainly, if you're a dad, you've noticed about in the gifts and cards you get. And what is that?
Well, it's just I was letting my daughter pick out my husband's Father's Day card, and she picked immediately, gravitated to one with a toilet on the front of it.
Yes.
But because it flushed, and she thought it was funny.
Right.
But I looked at like all of the cards.
Yes.
And there were multiple cards with toilets.
Yes, because that's what Dad's all about.
Like, Dad only just spends his time in the crapper.
Dad's in the can all day long.
all day.
My whole childhood, my dad was in the toilet. I don't know.
But if you Google, like, just on Amazon, I mean, it is pages and pages of cards about this.
This is how different Mother's Day and Father's Day are. Mother's Day, it's we've got to remember how wonderful Mother is and all the wonderful things.
She does everything.
Does everything. She does all for us.
Could you imagine if there was a Mother's Day card with a toilet?
No, you would never sell any of them, right? But then for Father's Day, it's like, geez, somebody get Dad out of the bathroom.
Yeah, or
he's
he's
blowing up the bathroom again.
Or he's in the recliner taking a nap, or guzzling beer in the backyard.
Right. Cutting the grass.
Yeah, he's drinking beer, going to the bathroom.
He's just a hapless idiot.
Taking a nap. Dad has never done anything worth a damn. I don't know. It's amazing he can support the family as dumb as he is. And it's amazing he hasn't been fired for as much time as he spends in the bathroom. I don't know.
I know, just like this. I mean, it just cracked me up.
It's a great observation and a funny column, but it is it's a little sad for
Kyle,
those of us.
You need to get ready. Your quiet time is in the John.
In the John now.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
I'll move the computer and the books in there.
Are you about to tell something on your husband that he doesn't want people to know?
Men tend to spend more time in the bathroom than women.
I don't know.
On
it's a serious claim
activity.
Here.
I think that it's probably been proven.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I have to do a study.
Have observed that men like to maybe take their phones and spend some quiet time.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the big habit of getting the paper under my arm and I'll see y'all in a few days. That's not my deal. But I don't know. I can't speak for everyone.
Camped out with lanyap in the bathroom.
Yeah, it wasn't always sort of like
But still,
everybody just take care of your business without announcing it.
Even if dads do that, it still doesn't mean that you think that entire Hallmark is dedicated to the entire section.
I'm
how
pretty
many
familiar
different cards can you write for that?
It
is incredible.
The
toilet humor is undefeated. So I mean, it is,
and it's endless. It's endless.
But I mean, everybody does that. Even Mom does that. So I mean, I think there's more to Dad than just that.
Oh
I think
yes, no. And I mean, look, I fully agree that Mother's Day has gotten just out of hand. Like, it has become a 3-day event,
a festival.
Yes, and you got to get Mom a $300 gift, or she's unhappy. Or whatever.
I think it's time to start some cards that really bring Mom back down to earth.
Now, Rob
flying way too high.
Way too high.
We need some toilet, Mom.
Yeah. Mom's got her problems too.
Maybe some perimenopause, Mom.
Right.
You bite our heads off.
Have Mom hammered at the neighborhood party.
Yeah.
Wow. So glad we're late again, Mom.
Hungover again, Mom.
Rob Scott, how many toilet themed cards have y'all gotten?
I mean, I've gotten them. Sure, I'm sure I have. There's no doubt.
Well, I mean, because your children think they're funny.
Right. They do. They do. They think it's amusing. And also because that's mostly what you can select.
Yeah, unless you're going to go the sentimental route, and that's no kid wants to do that.
Dad, thank you so much for holding my hand through the damn
the women
nobody wants that.
Wings,
I mean, it's just it's okay for some maybe card. I know there's probably tons of card makers. The Hallmark people probably love to listen to Lagnapod. I think let's branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's look into Dad's other foibles. I'm sure there are other things he's done wrong.
Sports gambling.
Yeah. Exactly. Remember when Dad gambled away all our money and we can't go to college?
Poly Market.
Yeah, I think
Poly Market.
Dad's on Poly Market again.
Certainly Dad has messed up in other ways.
Yeah.
It's not just about...
You're going to wish that he was just on the toilet too long. When the next batch.
Flushed your savings away.
Yeah.
glad to see that we're past Father's Day again, and
Yes.
it'll be back next year.
Well, next year we're gonna lobby for it to be just as equal with Mother's Day.
Good luck. You got a long way to go. All right, that's all we have this week, folks. We will be back next week with the next episode of Lagnapod. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. Music is by Sunpulse Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lanyapmobile.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.